Halo is one of the most influential console shooters of all time. This is especially true for the debut entry, Halo Combat Evolved. At its release in 2001, it sported advanced AI, novel controls, and a gameplay loop able to support an entire franchise. However impressive that may have been in 2001, you may be wondering if Halo Combat Evolved stands the test of time. The game is pretty old after all, 22 years old to be exact. As a die-hard Halo fan who started with Halo Reach, I wanted to see if the original held its own, and so, 2 weeks ago, I played the entire campaign on Heroic and some multiplayer via the MCC in order to tell you how Halo Combat Evolved stands in 2023. Before I go into the campaign and multiplayer, I wanted to address how well Halo CE has held up mechanically, especially for a game released 4 years before I was even born. This game doesn't suffer from the same kind of jank as other old shooters, such as the original Doom or GoldenEye. Halo CE has modern controls, being one of the original pioneers using dual sticks for aiming and moving. It also introduced the concept of only carrying two weapons at once and switching between the two, which is seen in many modern shooters. Some might say the lack of sprint is a sign of its age, which is true, but walking speed is so fast you never notice. The only noticeably aged parts of the game is the way vehicles instantly kill you even going at 1 mile per hour, and how grenades may as well be mini nukes, not to mention the fact that chain reactions exist. Aside from that, CE controls smoothly and just how you'd expect any game to. The fact that most of the Halo games after CE don't control differently to the original is a testament to its intuitive design. Halo CE's campaign starts off strong with the mission The Pillar of Autumn. You are introduced to the simple plot. Humanity is on the run from aliens and must flee onto a ring-shaped planet, later revealed to be Halo. Pillar of Autumn is a series of tight corridors that act as a natural tutorial for the game. This all changes once the Pillar of Autumn ends and you get onto the Halo ring. Once on the Halo, the next 4 missions are significantly more open. These include Halo, your wide-open introduction to the ring, Truth and Reconciliation, a stealth mission that takes you aboard a Covenant ship, the Silent Cartographer, an invasion of a Covenant-controlled island, and Assault on the Control Room, a massive battle with the Covenant featuring tank combat. You have a lot of choices when approaching gunfights on all of these missions. Master Chief's design encourages this. Master Chief is always able to pick up the weapons of friends or foes, which encourages a run-and-gun style of gameplay. When I played on Heroic, I was consistently changing weapons when I ran out of ammo or just needed a change of pace. Luckily, every weapon in the Halo sandbox is at least somewhat viable. Weapons like the Magnum and Shotgun definitely stick out, but no weapon is useless. The halfway point of the game is where things start to change significantly. Spoilers for the campaign are going to start here, and if for some reason you are 22 years late to Halo CE like I am, I would skip to here. In the 6th mission, 343 Guilty Spark, a new enemy faction is introduced, the Flood. The Flood throws a wrench into any of the lessons you've learned earlier. The Flood are zombies and use Zerg tactics to rush the player. Unlike the Covenant, who are distinguished intellectuals, the Flood are essentially really fast Minecraft zombies. However, the Flood aren't actually that bad to fight in this game. They're significantly worse in Halo 2 and 3, so I was actually happy when they showed up and weren't the bullet sponges I expected them to be. The problem with the second half of CE's campaign is not the Flood. In fact, they're a needed breath of fresh air for the game and work well when fighting the Covenant in missions like 2 Betrayals and Keys. The actual issue is level design. I'm going to break every Halo fan's heart right now when I say that I'm actually not the biggest fan of Forerunner architecture. I hate to break it to you, but the Forerunner architecture in this game is gray concrete. I'm sure this would be cool in 2001, but it's really just not doing it for me. I like when it is used sparingly, but this game is overkill. 343 Guilty Sparks makes you feel like you are walking in the same corridors over and over. If this level did not have the Flood reveal, it would probably be the worst design level in the game. This takes us to the library, which is just as bad. I'm fairly certain this is the same level, stacked on itself 3 times. This level only features the Flood, in the same rooms, over and over. This level was not as bad as the community made it out to be, but was by no means good. On Legendary, it is probably much worse, but on Heroic, I found it easy enough that the level design did not completely ruin my enjoyment. The next 2 levels kind of blend together and are just repeats of older levels, but they changed the time of day or added the Flood. 2 Betrayals is alright. I hate all vehicle sections in this game, and really any Halo game, so that loses points for me. This mission also felt really long, and is literally Assault on the Control Room, but backwards. I guess I'll quickly talk about vehicles in this game. I find vehicles on higher difficulties to be burdens more than anything. Maybe I just suck, but it makes you feel like a bigger target, and Halo's gunplay is so good I would just rather go on foot. Vehicles for me have only ever been fun in multiplayer. It might hurt my enjoyment of vehicle sections, but I don't play Halo campaigns with friends anymore. Maybe if I had friends to play with, I wouldn't mind them as much, but playing solo, vehicles are definitely no fun for me. Keys is another alright tier level. It mixes up Truth and Reconciliation with a weird fight in an acid swamp, but it was so chaotic I couldn't really appreciate the sights. I've seen people say that the Flood inside the Covenant ship are too overwhelming, but I would actually say the Spec Ops Covenant are a bigger threat than the Flood ever got to be in this game. The final level is the Maw, which is the first example of backtracking done well without it feeling lazy. Coming back to see the tutorial area filled with more dangerous enemies and in disarray is fun and a good way of showing how the situation on Halo has deteriorated. The Warthog run is a great way to end off the story with a bang, literally. Halo's levels are held together by a simple yet effective story. It's pretty campy, especially whenever the humans are involved. Sergeant Johnson and Captain Keyes are walking stereotypes, but that's not a bad thing. Halo CE is fun and keeps things simple, with a plot that feels like the original Star Wars. Simple, self-contained, and undeniably entertaining, while setting up big questions for sequels regarding the mystery of the rings and the Flood. Overall, Halo Combat Evolved has a fun-filled campaign with memorable moments in both gameplay and story. The first half is near perfection in its introduction to the Covenant and the Ring, however the second half of the game is hurt by backtracking, which turns once impressive levels into monotonous ones. Halo Combat Evolved includes a multiplayer with more content than most games releasing in 2023. It includes 19 maps with a multitude of game modes to play such as Team Deathmatch, Capture the Flag, and more. I've only ever played the MCC multiplayer for Halo CE, which is still relatively populated to this day if you want to check it out. Halo's satisfying gunplay carries on to the multiplayer with one caveat. Balance in this is non-existent. Although every gun was viable in the campaign, I would not say that is the case here. The pistol reigns supreme as a one-man army on the field. Is it a short-range demon? Yes. Can it be used as a medium-range DMR? Yes. Is it a sniper? Most definitely, yes. However, this kind of just adds to the fun. Yes, the game is jank, but it would be boring if a 20-year-old game featuring the colorful cast of Among Us was a competitive wet dream. Map design is where Halo CE reigns supreme. Many years ago, before I even played the campaign, I owned the MCC. When friends would come to my house, we would often forgo playing the modern games to play on Battle Creek, Blood Gulch, or Hang 'em High. Halo CE's multiplayer works best as a party game with friends, and there's no shame in that. Although in the modern day, I would much prefer to play the multiplayer of a game like Infinite, it can't be denied that Halo CE's multiplayer is still fun in 2023. I enjoyed my time with Halo Combat Evolved. It may have been the final Halo game I ever completed, but it was certainly not my least favorite. That's for a different video. I would rank Combat Evolved at about the midway point in terms of quality among the Halo games. In the modern context, I would give Halo Combat Evolved a 7 out of 10, for having a decent but repetitive campaign and a fun multiplayer with the right friends. Looking back in 2001, I could easily see why the original Halo would score a 9 out of 10, for redefining console shooters and launching the Xbox brand.